Hi everyone, my name is Kenya Torres and I am in the Family and Human Development Program with a specialization in child life. And today I'm going to talk to you about a very important topic, foster care. In this presentation, I will highlight and overview the difficulties children face when placed in foster care. In addition, I will note a specific method that will help foster children adjust to their foster care placement through a wonderful process of therapeutic play where children engage in imaginary, cognitive, and social emotional play and do activities that include fine and gross motor skills, sensory and language acquisition. My goal is to provide you, the grant makers, and the Arizona Department of Child Safety with sufficient information that will help you understand the importance of play and how children can cope with their emotions and understand their familial experiences and relationships. Lastly, I will provide information on successful therapeutic services where foster children were able to successfully cope with their familial experiences and regulate their emotions. Okay, so first I want to give a brief overview and highlight that foster children may have an increased amount of emotional distress after the removal from their families. In addition, research shows that children in foster care have an increased amount of stress and trauma due to foster placement. And children have difficulties regulating those emotions and understanding their new environment that they're placed in. So, since foster care placement is a stressor for children, it is important for children to have opportunities to understand the changes that are happening. So, for example, mental health services, therapeutic services, and interventions can aid children and help them implement coping mechanisms to help with emotional regulation. The goal is to help children understand and express their emotions to promote a healthy well being. There are many reasons why children end up in foster care, and research shows that in history, children will often be placed in foster care due to death of a parent, poverty, or a parent being too ill to care for their child or children. But now, research shows that more than 50% of children are in foster care due to abuse, and 53% of children are neglected. According to the Department of Child Safety website, the following types of abuse are defined as emotional abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and neglect. So, emotional abuse is defined as the psychological and social abuse of a child. This includes the parent, guardian, relative to intimidate, yell, shout, or produce fear in the child towards that parent. So during emotional abuse, the parent or guardian may call the child derogatory names, tell them that they are unworthy, and really attack their self esteem. Physical abuse is defined as the non accidental physical harm towards the child, which is causing injuries and further physical complications. So, this may include the parent causing bruises, lacerations, broken bones, or other physical harm that requires immediate medical attention. Sexual abuse is extremely difficult to talk about, and this is the action of an adult engaging in sexual activity with a minor, produces or engages in child pornography, manipulating a child to engage in a sexual act. And I want to point out that sexual abuse includes contact and non contact activities. Lastly, neglect is neglecting children of food, of medical attention, so the child may be ill for several weeks and he or she is not receiving any proper care because they're not being taken to the hospital or to a doctor or receiving their medications that they need. And the parents may be restricting them from school. So, going days and days without attending school. And neglect also includes not treating the child with love, care, support, and nurture. So, foster children face many psychological and psychosocial problems during foster care, and often require an increased amount of support. So, research shows that children in foster care are at a higher risk of suffering with psychiatric disorders. In addition, research explains that children are abused early in childhood and have a higher risk of going through post traumatic stress disorder. It is also important to note that children with PTSD often have depression and anxiety and behavior problems that include the usage of drugs and alcohol. So, this is interlinked with the child having behavioral problems or juvenile delinquency. A study showed that 60% of foster children who were sexually or physically abused or maltreated showed symptoms of PTSD. And further research shows that PTSD in children can often have adverse effects on the child's development and proceed to cause the child's self esteem issues, social withdrawal, and have negative parent to child relationships. So, the real goal here is for parents to understand, as foster parents, to understand that they are a very important factor in foster children's lives. They should support them with anything that they need, and really, foster children require extreme supervision because they're often going through many emotions that they themselves cannot understand. So that's where the foster parent can jump in place and provide that support for them. Ask them how their day is going, what is it that they need, and give them emotional support so that they can figure out what those emotions are and regulate them. Okay, so research shows that academic performance is a strong predictor of how the individual will behave as an adult. So, for example, children who show success in school have a greater chance of receiving and holding a prestigious career position, succeed academically and financially later in adulthood. Foster children who have foster parents that have higher education, such as graduating from a college or university, like getting an associate's degree, bachelor's, master's, or PhD, well, those kids have a higher chance at succeeding academically. And if these children do not have a supportive family to guide them through the academic challenges, then it is a possibility that the child may engage in delinquent activities and have behavioral problems, such as getting peer pressured into doing things, hanging around with the wrong crowd, and uh, most likely being engaged into the criminal justice system. Each child will have a different experience adjusting to foster care and to their foster care home. Some children may quickly bond with their new foster family and feel comfortable and safe in their home. Of course, this may take, several days to get acquainted and get adjusted to a new environment. But sometimes other children may slowly warm up to their foster parents and have difficulty establishing a healthy parent-child relationship. Some children have stated that they felt uncomfortable in their foster home and that they never really felt safe, and it was just like living out of a suitcase. So they never knew exactly how long they were going to stay there, if they were going to be placed in another home and removed from the one that they had. And many children were placed in different homes, in various homes, and that really shows how often these children are moving between homes, and that it has no stability at all. So children may have difficulties understanding why they were removed from their families and understand the experiences that they went through before placement, since they lived through a lot of experiences of abuse, neglect, maltreatment. They have to understand what they went through because it could be something so normal to them since they lived their entire lives like that. So many children do have difficulties understanding why they were removed from their families and it is very important for them to understand what happened and why they were removed and the importance of that. Okay, so the current foster care services in Arizona are great. They really take in consideration the well being of the child and of the family. And the Department of Child Safety provides amazing resources for foster families that include childcare, a medical and dental program, state funded insurance for the child, crisis support, they even offer extracurricular activities for children such as dance, karate, sports, gymnastics, etc. And they offer kinship support for family members raising a child. So that would be if a grandparent, an aunt, an uncle, a sister is raising the child, they offer further support for those individuals. And these services are all great support for children in foster care and provide great services to help children cope with their life experiences. However, in my opinion, I feel that one thing is missing. And what's missing is an area where foster children can come together, support each other, engage, and cope with their emotions to establish resilience and really just understand those emotions that are going through them and really understand the experiences that they went through and interact with other children because they may have similar experiences. Okay, so how do we do this? How do we help foster children with their psychological and emotional distress? That's a great question. How can we help in a way that is child friendly, welcoming, and healing? Another amazing question. You guessed it. Through play. The best way that children learn is through expressing their emotions through play. And play is essential to understand how a child is feeling inside and help them verbalize those emotions through pretend play. So it is extremely important to grant each child with the right to play and have the opportunity to develop and learn through fun and engaging activities. And research notes that play allows children to use their creativity while developing their imagination, dexterity, and physical, cognitive, and emotional strength. And it is also important to share that play provides children with benefits that will directly affect their development. And when a child is able to play in a child friendly environment, positive development occurs. So, this is a child who is engaging in pretend play and acting out their experiences. And it really shows them how they understand how an adult life works. And that is extremely, extremely important. So now the question is, how do children play? Okay, so play is a healing process. Play is said to help children regulate their emotions. So play serves as a healing process for children when in the midst of life-changing experiences. So according to the Handbook of Child Life, the author explains that therapeutic play, creative, and imaginary play help children become active members in their world and gain control over their emotions when facing challenging obstacles. So, like I said in the slide before, children will act out their experiences. They may act out in anger, in sadness, in happiness, and really just share something that is so common to their lives and act it out with either teddy bears, dolls, a friend, and the person will start to see how this child is mimicking their lives. So it is important for children to be active participants in their environment, to understand, cope, and heal with experiences that are troubling. And children all learn and develop differently. So this also means that children all play differently. However, play has one thing in common with all children, and this is that play helps children socialize and understand how their world is evolving and changing. So I want to point out that play is important, play is essential, and play makes a difference. It is a universal act that everybody knows, everybody has played before, and everybody has interacted with a child before when they were younger, when they're older. So it's very important for children to have those interactions with other children that are also in foster care and see how they're expressing their emotions and expressing the obstacles that they went through prior to placement. Okay, so there are many advantages of play, and play allows children to communicate their feelings. Play provides the child with relaxation and peace, and play gives children the opportunity to express their feelings with the manipulation of objects. So, for example, they can act aggressive, happy, sad, fearful. Play can help children express themselves without the fear of thinking that they will get in trouble with their actions or words. And adults can learn to understand the child's emotions through the observations that they make while a child is at play. And the author from the Child Life Handbook explains that children use play to take control over traumatic situations or situations that produce anxiety as an attempt to control over the challenging event. So children can engage in play with other children who have been in similar situations, and together they can problem solve their emotions. And in addition, children can create positive interactions with other children by supporting each other and understanding each other's situations. So, the question here is, has this been done before? Have foster children been in a place where therapeutic play has worked and where they have engaged with other children and supported each other through their experiences? Well, thankfully, the answer to that question is yes. There has been a successful therapeutic approach, and this is the Guidance Center Foster Care Treatment Program in Jamaica, Queens, New York, where they established a therapeutic playroom where children can engage, play freely, and socialize with their siblings, peer, foster parents, and even their biological parents. The children who were active participants in this center greatly benefited from the program. The children in this program were seen to feel comfortable telling their stories to other children rather than expressing their feelings alone to a therapist, since they saw that those children could really understand what they went through. They felt a lot more comfortable expressing those emotions to another child who has suffered through the same experience. And in conclusion, the children ended up socializing more, and there was a decrease in behavior problems as opposed to foster children who were not in the program. So, my goal is to help you understand, grant makers and the Arizona Department of Child Safety, how children will benefit from play and therapeutic playrooms. And implementing these therapeutic playrooms for children as a place to heal and promote resilience is extremely important. And I am promoting that services would be provided to children at the beginning of placement because that's when most of their emotions are distraught and unable to explain what's going on. And asking foster parents to commit to taking their child to the playroom for free play, counseling, or support groups at least once a week. That way that the children can engage with other children um, who are also in foster care and start establishing healthy relationships. So, this service shall be available for all children with no age restriction, and services may be provided for children after reunification as they may need assistance adjusting to living with their biological parents again. Okay, so thank you guys so much for watching and listening to this presentation, and I hope you guys really understood how important play is for children so that they can engage and have fun, smile, laugh with other children, and really understand how to be active participants in their lives. And I just wanted to conclude this presentation by saying that it should not hurt to be a child. We should continue to protect the children around us as they are our future and really help them learn how to express their emotions, understand them, and strive to overcome an obstacle. Thank you.